Adam, you have kids, don't you?
I think so. Otherwise, our branding is way off.
You start getting invited to what we call the children's birthday party. Your child goes to school, they make friends, and now you're invited to the children's birthday party.
Yep.
Okay. Some of these are good experiences, some of these are bad experiences.
Yeah.
Because, okay, we're going to someone's house. Like my daughter's going to someone's house, or they're going to a play place. Like it's a bounce thing where they have all this bounce stuff. So, I really get annoyed of like how many there are and all that. So we got invited to one today. Okay. This children's birthday party is at Chick-fil-A.
What?
Mega Dads Live is a mature-rated podcast. It's for the Mega Dads, the Mega Moms, but not the Mega Kids. So put on those earmuffs and let's go!
So that's what I said. I'm like, what do you mean? And they're like, oh, it's at Chick-fil-A because the girl whose birthday it is really loves Chick-fil-A.
What do you... I've never been to a Chick-fil-A, but it's just a chicken restaurant, right?
Yeah, it's kind of like a Hobby Lobby where like, I think the owners like have some type of like religious thing going on where they're closed on Sunday. If I'm not mistaken. So there was like some controversy with that, and they like support like right-wing shit.
Yep.
So I was like, I don't eat there. Some people love the chicken. I don't know. I think I've eaten it and I feel like the food is too clean. Like there's no grease to it. I'm like, if I'm gonna eat chicken, like I want it to be like slobbering all over me back while I'm slobbering on it.
You want to feel that shit for like an hour afterwards.
There needs to be a fluid exchange, but there's not because it's kind of healthy and dry.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, so
God's chicken.
What is your take on this birthday party with the Chick-fil-A? Because as far as I can tell, I don't think there's like a play place or anything like that at these things. So I think the kids are just gonna go and eat chicken.
And
Chick-fil-A
that sounds fucking stupid. If you ask me, like, how old is this kid?
4.
Yeah, fuck that. You, as a parent, you impose a little bit more joy on your child. Even if my kid said to me, I want my birthday at Chick-fil-A, I'd be like, motherfucker, you're going to Chuck E. Cheese.
Yeah, exactly. And it's interesting because I was like, how did that happen? And you already know. It was like, well, you get to pick your birthday. Where do you want it to be? You want it to be at the bounce house? I want it to be Chick-fil-A. But like, no,
that's
but
not
like,
an option.
Where do you want to be with your friends? I want to eat chicken. Okay, but for your birthday party where you're supposed to be having fun, what would you like? A number 2 with barbecue sauce. Like, that is not what I'm asking you. I'm asking you where you want to have your birthday party.
Not an option.
Interesting. Where's the most depressing restaurant you could go to have your birthday party as a kid?
The most depressing restaurant?
Yeah, you made like a bad choice. It's like, oh, okay, we're all gonna go eat for my birthday. It's like
Starbucks.
Yeah, let's all go to Starbucks and get ourselves some frappuccinos.
I think as a parent, you have an obligation to form your children in more ways than one. And if your kid is a dumbass and wants to go to like Chick-fil-A or like the library or something like that, like
the library,
you owe it to your offspring to guide them to what a party is actually supposed to be. That is an experience that is fleeting. You only get so many actual parties that are fun in your life. So like that poor child, I can only imagine what their home life is like.
Like, Father, I would love to go to the library and read with my friends. Like, no, you stupid kid.
Nah, like, jag off. We're going bowling. Let's take this opportunity to thank all of our members of Megadads Boost who help make content like this possible. For 10 years, Megadads has been producing podcasts, reviews, videos, interviews. We've been going to preview events and making all sorts of other kind of fun content that revolves around parenting and gaming. And all of that has been possible because of the support we receive from members of Megadads Boost. If you'd like to join Megadads Boost, all you have to do is go to patreon.com/Megadads and you can sign up for as little as $1 a month. All that money goes right back into Megadad's content and ensures that we can continue to deliver more fun stuff like this for years to come. Members of Megadad's Boost get this podcast boosted 5 days early and completely ad-free. And not only that, but in February, we have a special offer. Any paid member of Megadad's Boost in the month of February is going to get one of these 3D emblem crests delivered to your house. All you got to do is be a paying member of Megadad's Boost. So make sure you go to patreon.com/Megadads and sign up today. And if you are a paid member of Megadad's Boost, make sure you're checking your Patreon messages so that we can get your shipping information and send you your 3D embossed Megadad's emblem. Pretty cool, right? Our members of Megadad's Boost for the month of February are Spokes, Emily Smith, Brent, John DeFrancesco, Brendan Myers, Brandon Wilson, The Snack Network, Dave Soto, Jesse Waldack, Timothy Alf, Andy Penzick, Luke Porter, David Snyder, the Boffo Yucks Dudes, Justin Masson, and the Nintendo Dads Podcast. Make sure you guys are checking your messages on your Patreon hub so that we can get you your 3D embossed Megadad's emblem. And the fine folks hanging out in the free tier are Solara Clark, the Coconut Wizard, Avi Cohen, One Track Gamers, John Layola, Michael Kwan, Sonny Megatron, Nima, Eric Wood, Petey McD, Mike Salvino, and Brian Scott. Thanks to everyone who is engaging in our Megadad's Boost community. And again, if you want to be a part of that, all you got to do is go to patreon.com/Megadads. Now back to the show.
Yeah.
So the other thing is, like, kids at that age, I always wonder, like, if they are choosing. So, like, people like us, like, if we're having a party, we are only inviting the people that we want at that party. Kids of that age, it's like, well, these are the people in my class, or these are the people that are in my group. So I'm inviting all of them. You know what I'm saying? Like, a lot of times my kids would invite people to their parties that I would never see again. And it's like, they were just proximity invites, right? They were in my bubble. As an adult, like, I'm not inviting the people that I go to work with. I'm inviting the people that I actually like. So I wonder if your daughter would even be missed if you skipped a Chick-fil-A. You know what I'm saying?
These people are like best friends with her. Like, she's like best friend. She's like, I gotta go eat the chicken with my best friend. I'm like, okay.
So are you going to the chicken? You going to Chick-fil-A?
I'm trying to get out of this thing. I'm like gonna go like do some housework or something. So we'll see.
Just show up with like a Pride t-shirt on. They'll kick you out. They'll kick you out. All right. Well, speaking of great parenting, it's time for our segment that we like to call Parent of the Month. And oftentimes, for Parent of the Month, for a laugh, we select really, truly awful parents. And that's what we've selected for this month's Parent of the Month. This is a story that absolutely blows my mind. I'm going to get your opinion on the flip side and spark a conversation about it. A Florida couple were recently charged with child neglect after the police found their 5 kids living without electricity, food, or plumbing.
Jeez.
And they were arrested on New Year's Eve because what they were doing is they were going out to eat and going out to party and leaving their kids at home in dark, cold, foodless, and plumbingless environments. Their son, their 6-year-old son, was spotted running across the street unsupervised, and that's how they figured this whole thing out. They followed this kid home. These fucking people are scum of the earth. However, I gotta say, bringing your kids to a restaurant is, you got little kids, and you can bring them to the restaurant. Like, I kind of get it.
Oh my god!
Kind of, you know, I'm not gonna totally discount this idea of leaving your kids home, but you have to have plumbing. I think plumbing is like, that's where they lost me, right?
Yeah, you need to have plumbing. So I'm looking at this now. 5 kids is a lot of kids.
That's a lot of kids.
So yeah, like, you have to take care of your children. And when you don't have that, like, inside you, like, you really need to make some changes. You know what I mean? Like, at a certain point, if you know that this is what you're about, it's like, you know what?
Yeah.
I'm not going to have a working toilet for my own children. Like, I'm sure that you can, like, open up adoption. Like, can you not adopt or give your kids up
It's
for adoption later? Can you not
it's
do that?
I think you can. I think there are ways.
Yeah, just give them up. Like, have them be in a better life somewhere with someone who has a toilet for the crying out loud. Like, people will
It's
love these kids somewhere.
it's like eating sushi, right? If
Mhm.
you eat
Yeah.
sushi once and you're like, I don't really like this,
Yeah.
but maybe I had the wrong kind of sushi, so I'm gonna try it again. You have sushi a second time. I think typically by the second or maybe even the third time you try sushi, you know whether or not you're a sushi person. With kids, if you're down the road with 5 kids and you still haven't figured out that this is not for you, there's some problems going on there. I don't even, and they're not even that old. One dude's 40 and she's 33. 33, and you've had 5 fucking kids.
Yeah.
And you don't even like your kids.
Yeah, like that's the thing. And then like they're eating and they're like not letting their kids eat, like type thing. Like these people, like this is where the jail time is just like throw away the key.
Yeah.
Like, you really messed up. You know what I mean? There's nothing redeeming about you. You are just human trash. And I don't like to call people human trash,
I do.
but they're human trash.
And again, I am not without sympathy about this whole date night thing. It has been a long time since I've been able to go out with my wife on an actual date. It's hard to find a babysitter,
Hard to find a sitter.
but it is not hard to keep the plumbing in your.
Yeah, have a
your-
toilet for the
have-
for the
you-
love of God. That's okay. That's our new benchmark.
Yeah.
A toilet and food. Like,
Once you provide
what the hell's
once
your
you
problem?
provide a hole to shit in and some cold cuts for your kids, go out and have the time of your life. Just live it up. I'm even willing to overlook the electricity.
Feed the kids.
I'm-
Kids don't need light. That's
Right.
that's like a luxury or
Yeah.
whatever. But you need to feed your kids. Damn it. That's
Feed
the
your-
Mega Dad's tip of the day. Feed the damn kids.
Feed,
What's
feed your
wrong with
children.
you? Jeez.
The place to be for Megadads socials is the Megadads Discord, where you can engage with your favorite Megadads as well as other friends of the Megadads every single day in our stress-free and welcoming social space. When you're a member of our Discord, you will get alerts for all of our content drops, so you never have to miss a review, a podcast, or a hot take. Partake in our fun weekly Megadads holidays like Waluigi Wednesday and Final Fantasy Sunday. Megadads Discord is fun, free, and follows you wherever you go. Join us today and become part of the conversation.
All right, let's talk about a video game that you've been playing. I don't even know what this is, but it's had a sequel. It's called Path of Exile 2.
Path of Exile 2 is an action role-playing video game developed and published by Grinding Gear Games, a sequel to the 2013 Path of Exile 1. And this is available for PC, PS5, Xbox Series X and S as of early December in early access. You do have to pay $30 if you want to. They actually give you $30 of in-game currency, so it's like you bought like some of their cosmetics. So you have like a bank of money for that $30, and they give you access to the game now, as opposed to it releasing in 6 months to a year from now when it will be free to play. So the reason that I got into Path of Exile 2 is because it is a Diablo-like game, an action RPG where you're going around dungeon crawling, hacking and slashing at enemies, and getting better and better loot, which powers up your character, which lets you get farther into the game. The thing about this game is it's a direct competitor, again, with Diablo, and Diablo 4 is good by all accounts, but a little lackluster in certain ways. It's definitely a premium Activision Blizzard product, but Path of Exile 2, Grinding Gear Games, a lot of people were like, you know what? We're going to go for it. We're going to take on the king, which is Diablo, and we're going to do it better. They hyped up this game so much online where people who kind of follow this genre of game were like, man, can they do it? Can they defeat the king? And by all accounts, this game is so good that it definitely competes with the long-established Diablo franchise. Now, the thing that separates Path of Exile 2 from Diablo is it's a very difficult game. Some people call it like Souls-like, in the sense of in Diablo, you run around and you kind of have a power fantasy where you're calling down lightning, you're calling down fire, and you're destroying all these skeletons or minions or whatever you're doing um, in the level, and you're doing it very quickly. Path of Exile is a lot slower. Every enemy can be more dangerous. They don't have these huge swarms of enemies come at you until Act 2, which is when I'm in. Now there's a lot more enemies on screen. The difficulty gets even more challenging. The other thing about Path of Exile 2 is you have skills. So it's like, oh, you like ice, you like fire, you like using grenades. Like all these skills that you have in Path of Exile 2 have modifiers. So this one modifier gem could be like, if this weapon fires a projectile, like say like a grenade, now it fires two. And then boom, boom, now your one grenade becomes two, and it's awesome. And then you'll find an armor, or you'll find a weapon that says, and this also has your weapon fire another one. So now you have three grenades. Then you unlock this, and it's more damage. Then you unlock something that increases the rate of fire of this. And you can swap this gem and put it into any of your skills. So I'm a mercenary who has a shotgun. Well, it's a crossbow, but it acts like a shotgun. And it's like, okay, you like the ice skill. Now make this skill shoot through that enemy that you shot, and it'll get the one behind him. So then you add that gem, and you can swap them, and you can continually change around. So I might want gas grenades that fill up the whole room and start poisoning people, and then the gas can explode. So now I swap that gem out, and now I only want a little bit of the gas in the room, but I want a bigger explosion. So I do the fire grenades, and you can keep customizing and switching your play style. There's a lot of different classes.
A lot of systems.
Yeah,
Huh?
you can be a magic user. You can be a in your face like hammer wielding warrior. Like it's a lot. So basically, if you like Doom, if you like Diablo, you'll love Path of Exile 2. It's another take on the genre. It has a lot of flexibility with it. I'm loving it. I paid for the early access, and I'm not disappointed at all in the game. It really picks up in Act 2, where you start to get a lot more rare gear, and you have a lot more things changing your build around. Now I have an abundance of options, and I have, do I unlock this skill tree node? Do I unlock that skill tree node? Do I want to fire faster, or do I want more evasion so I live longer? And the bosses are really cool. When you're firing like a shotgun blast or fire at someone, the graphics are so good. Like the little projectiles of like the ash and the little sparks of electricity, and the way that it looks creepy, and you're going through like a different you're like fighting on the outside of a castle, and then in the next area you're fighting in the treetops of a village that's built in the trees with like huts and stuff. And then you're going into like a almost like an Egyptian like tomb, and you're going to all these different areas and fighting interesting enemies. Like I just ran into these scarab beetles, and they look cool. They look genuinely cool. They had this one enemy that is carrying a pot, and then he puts the pot down, and I'm like, what the hell is that? And then the pot starts shooting out fire. And I'm like, oh, okay. So when I see this enemy, it's like if I don't kill it by the time it aims this pot at me, it's going to start shooting something. So there's like mechanics to it. And it's just really awesome. When you freeze enemies, they like freeze in place, and it looks like really cool. I don't know if you remember like the Batman Forever, like when they had the Iceman, Arnold Schwarzenegger, and it looks like they're in place, and they're like Frozone did in Incredibles. And there's like all this ice like glistening off them, and they're like frozen in place. Everything looks amazing when you freeze an enemy in place, because you could freeze like huge enemies in place, and they're like about to smash you, and then they look like frozen. It just looks great. Very visually appealing. I love it. I recommend it to anyone who's a fan of the genre.
And it is a very unique like genre. I look at these games from the outside as somebody who doesn't play them. I look at stuff like this and Diablo and Pillars of Eternity, and they've all got like that retro PC, you've played these games for 30 years vibe, but they look way, way better. Like they look, they look way better. But they all have that isometric thing, and they've all got their little menus around the frame, those little medieval menu frames. But the thing for me is just looking at it and not understanding it is they look very similar. Like they
Mhm,
all look
mhm.
like they have a similar art style. They have a similar like UI or whatever. What is it that differentiates this game from like what would you say to a guy like me who doesn't understand what makes these special? Like what changes between this and those other kinds of games?
In the end, it's just about feeling cool and feeling overpowered. And in this game specifically, as opposed to Diablo, it's like I made my build. In Diablo, you'll have, I used to play a druid, and I would love this spell that called down lightning. And you held the button and it would like charge like lightning bolts and it would come down randomly on people. And then every once in a while, you'll come across something that will modify that. Like if you have a rock that you throw at someone, right? Now you found something that's very rare in the game, and now instead of you shooting this boulder is just constantly circling you. And that was something really cool in Diablo. In this game, that's happening a lot more, where it's like, okay, I have this bullet that armor pierces, but now I've made it into a like a Gatling gun because I increased the speed and the damage of it with like different modifiers, and now it feels quicker and more lethal. So now I know, I'm like, these enemies, they have armor, let me put in my armor skill, let me add my gems to it so it acts in this way, and I think that I'll be able to kill this type of enemy quicker and stay alive more during this boss battle. And I just got this shotgun that shoots lightning, and it's like galvanic shards, and it goes out in a spray of a cone, and when the lightning hits the skeleton, it will shoot, and it'll shoot off and chain to another enemy, and then it'll chain to another enemy, and then you could add projectile bounce off the walls, and you'll just see all these videos online of people who have optimized, and you can add more and more, and now they can shoot a lightning bolt that will travel all around the room and won't stop. It'll just keep bouncing around till it chains something. So you can do that, and you feel like I did that. Like I
Right.
created that. If you want just one big boom explosion, you could do it. If you want like 6 little grenades, you can eventually do that too. So it depends on what you want to do. So customization is the key. Feeling overpowered eventually is the key. Feeling like you're finding an armor piece that's gonna change the game up for you in some significant way. Like I just found a crossbow that has 2 bolts instead of 1. So now everything that I shoot shoots twice, which change things up and you feel more powerful. So that's really the draw of the game.
Okay.
This game has 240 active skill gems. So
Oh, geez.
abilities, and
Right.
200 support gems, which kind of modify those. There's 100 in-game maps. There's going to be 6 acts to the story. Right now in early access, there's 3. There's going to be 6. There's 6 classes now. There will be 12. There's going to be more types of weapons, which gives you more types of, unlocks those ability to do the other skills. So it's really good. I would say definitely play it if you're a fan.
This is a hypecaster ass game if I've ever seen one.
It's so good. You get in there, you grind, you shoot things on fire, you electrocute them, you get stronger, and you keep going.
This program is powered by Megadad's Boost, our public support program. You can join at patreon.com/Megadads. For over 10 years, Megadads has been bringing you the best in podcasts, reviews, interviews, family fun, and so much more. As an independent media organization, we rely on audience members like you to help support what we do, to ensure that Megadads can continue to bring you the great content that you enjoy. If you've been watching, listening, or playing along through the years, please consider lending your support by becoming a member of Megadads Boost. Memberships start for as little as $1 a month, and you can start collecting your Boost rewards from day one. Rewards like art cards, early access podcasts, reviews, gameplay clips, and so much more. Please visit patreon.com/Megadads and become a member today. You can help us continue to make more of that Megadads coverage you've loved over the last 10 years well into the future by becoming a member of Megadads Boost.
All right, that's Path of Exile 2, and that sound right there means it's time for the caboose. We end the show with a recommendation of something outside the world of video games that we think you might enjoy. And I'm going to recommend a food.
Good.
It is something that typically I have not been a big fan of, like ramen, because I've thought of ramen as like the cheap college, throw some noodles in, do a little flavor packet and heat it up. But we started going to this place not too far away. It is an authentic ramen place. It's called Ichido Ramen, and they have a beef stir fry ramen and fried rice and egg rolls and chicken buns, and it's authentic Japanese ramen, and it is so good, and it is really kind of affirmed my belief that like Asian food cannot be done at home. You have to go out and get, unless you know how to like really make it. You can't buy store-bought Asian food and heat it up and it be the same thing. The difference between like buying your store-bought ramen and going to a ramen place and having it, night and day. It is so delicious.
MSG, baby. Let's go.
It is so good, man. And I won't eat ramen any other way, because it's like that's the way to do it. So I love going out and having myself some authentic ramen.
So my recommendation is that everyone who's listening to the sound of my voice tries to make homemade pizza. You need to do this. I did over the holidays. I took some photos, and I'm going to make a little short about it to put on the YouTube channel. But basically, so easy a baby can do it. My 4-year-old is making pizza with us. I have video and photos or whatever. We're kind of guiding her through the process. The key of it is to make homemade dough. In order to make homemade dough, all you need is flour, a little bit of salt, a little bit of oil, and some yeast. And then when you put water in it with the yeast, make sure the water is a little warm, and then slowly add in the flour until it gets less and less sticky, right? Now, when you're done with this, you set it to the side for 2 hours, and it's done. All you have to do is knead it, which is mix it all together with your hand and press it down hard. It takes 10 minutes to do, really. So I would suggest that you try it, because once you have the dough, like if I gave you dough, Adam, and then I gave you some sauce and cheese, could you make a pizza?
Oh, yeah, sure, of course.
You just put the sauce on top. So get some tomato sauce, get some mozzarella cheese or whatever cheese you want, and go to town. It's doable.
It's fun.
You'll be very surprised. Have you made homemade pizza, Adam?
Yeah, we actually found a recipe on YouTube that we follow each time, and it's just, like you said, it's not very complicated. It's about the time that you have to put into it. Make sure you do it right, and the dough will activate with the yeast and all that stuff. And you cover it up and you just let it sit. And
100%.
It's not hard to do, but it's kind of fun. It's interesting, and it tastes really good, because you can kind of customize and optimize, what you want to put in your dough, or garlic and stuff like that. So you can really make it your own.
Once you try, you'll get better at like spicing things up and doing it your way, but give it a chance, because if you don't, then you're not going to realize how easy it is. And everybody should be having homemade pizza every now and again.
That's a perfect recommendation, and that's a perfect way to end this episode of Megadads Live. If you enjoyed this show, maybe you want to support us over at patreon.com/Megadads. You can join Megadads Boost. You can support us for free. Just become a part of that community, or you can join for as little as $1 to help support what we do. Megadads is now in its 11th year, and we could not continue to make awesome content without our supporters, both in the community and in that Boost community. Maybe you just want to like a video. Maybe you just want to subscribe. Maybe you just want to join our Discord. Maybe you just want to recommend us to a friend. There are so many ways that you can help us out. Make sure that Megadads keeps going strong well into 2025. Thank you guys so much for listening, and we will see you next week on an all-new episode of Megadads Live.